Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we are going to be talking about Free Guy. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros Ryan Reynolds. You all probably know who he is, and if you don't, I'd be truly shocked. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds has had a very interesting career, to say the least, filled with plenty of twists and turns. And I'm about to look at his resume here very quickly. All started way back in 2002 with Van Wilder. And after that, he did Blade Trinity, Amityville Horror, Just Friends, a bunch of smaller stuff. And then X-Men Origins Wolverine. This movie, this movie was just left a huge black mark on his career, as did Green Lantern. Both movies being terrible in every sense of the word. I mean, at least X Men Origins made money. Green Lantern was a fail on all fronts. Critically, commercially, everything. Complete disaster. And Ryan Reynolds has said publicly on numerous occasions he does not like these movies. In fact, he straight up hates these movies. There is a reason he rags on them every chance he gets in the Deadpool movies. Like they were that bad. But then Deadpool happened. Yeah, in 20 I remember it like it was yesterday, 2014, Ryan Reynolds, oh I'm sorry. Someone leaked some test footage of a Deadpool movie. And so Fox, hearing all the love that test footage got, they're like, fine, we'll make this into a real thing. It's not like they'll make any money. Then 2 years later, Deadpool comes out, becomes one of the biggest hits of the year. And at the time, the biggest R-rated movie of all time worldwide. And then they made a sequel 2 years later, did about as well. They did Detective Pikachu, which did extremely well. Even Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard did quite well for itself for like a late August movie. So, yeah, like Ryan Reynolds now, he's been doing fantastic. Like he is, you could say he is like almost like a legitimate draw. And it was all thanks to those Deadpool movies. And it also helps that Ryan Reynolds, is a super likable guy. Like he's the type of actor that people were willing to pay to see. He's the type of guy you want to root for in a movie. So yeah, I would consider that a pro easily. Ryan Reynolds, he's way more bankable now than he's ever been in his career. So I would consider that a pro right there. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, this is an original movie. We haven't seen too many of those in recent memory. And it's not only an original movie, it's a big original movie. It's not like some small, medium sized budget movie. Like, this is a movie that if it came out in pre pandemic times, it could have become a blockbuster. And yeah, we kind of need that now because I think we've always reached a point where people just get sick of the constant reboots and sequels and spin-offs and prequels and so on and so forth, that this movie is going to feel like a breath of fresh air. It's going to feel great for most audiences. So I would consider that a pro. Is that's an original movie, it's original big movie, and people and it might really attract a lot of people. So I would consider that a pro. Another pro is the premise. The premise is simple. It's not too complicated. It's simple enough for so that people can get it. Even if you're a non-gamer, you should be able to at least understand the premise a bit. Where it's essentially you have an NPC, a non-playable character, suddenly gain consciousness and realizing he's in a game. And actually, yeah, here's the synopsis. A bank teller who discovers he is actually a background player in an open world video game decides to become the hero of his own story, one he rewrites himself. Now, in a world where there are no limits, he is determined to be the guy who saves his world his way before it is too late. It's very simple. And the weird thing is that video game movies that aren't based off actual video games tend to do better than actual video game movies. I mean, some examples off the top of my head are Wreck-It Ralph and the recent Jumanji movies. Isn't that weird? I find that super weird, but it does give Free Guy a bit of an advantage, though. So, yeah, I consider that a pro. Has a strong, easy to understand premise, and well, I guess another pro is that it's a non-video game video game movie, and those do way better than actual video game movies. So, another pro. Uh, Another pro. This movie has very strong reviews in terms of score. It's in like the 80s, which is very good. That's definitely gonna convince some people to watch it. Another pro. There's no competition. I mean, if the Suicide Squad did better last weekend, then it might be a problem for Free Guy because Suicide Squad just tanked. Free Guy has nothing to worry about. Like it's pretty much has the whole weekend to itself. Sure, it has to face Don't Breathe 2 and Respect, but there's like no crossover between the three at all. So Free Guy's in a league of its own. So it has no competition at all. I mean, sure, next weekend has plenty of films, but in terms of direct competition, there won't have to deal with anything until Shang Chi comes out in September, which is funny because both movies are Disney movies. Well, Free Guy was a Fox movie before Disney bought Fox, and now it's 20th Century Studios and all that jazz. So it's now technically a Disney movie, but still. Yeah, no competition in sight for a while for Free Guy. So that's another pro. Yet another pro I can think of. It's being released quite wide. We're talking over 4,000 theaters. That has only happened a few times in recent memory, which means Disney must have quite a bit of faith in this movie. They were willing to push it back so much, so frequently, because it's clear they gave a crap about the movie. They saw it have potential, and they didn't give up on it. So, yeah, another pro. Large theater counts. But at the same time, large theater count doesn't mean large box office, but still, it means they're trying. They're trying to sell this movie. All right, time for some cons. The biggest con that's against this movie. This darn pandemic, man. Like especially this Delta variant situation. I don't know how much it will affect this movie, but I do know it will have some type of effect, some type of negative effect, which is really unfortunate because from what I've heard, the movie looks really good. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So it's gonna deflate its box office a bit, its potential box office, or it might not. It might do amazing. Who knows at this point? The box office can be very unpredictable these days. I mean, who really expected the Suicide Squad to do as bad as it did? Honestly. So, yeah, still, COVID and Delta variant is definitely gonna soften its ticket sales potentially, but I'm still gonna consider those. Still gonna consider that a con. What I can't think of too many other cons really. I mean, well, the original movie can kind of be both a positive and a negative. I mean, sure, it's a fresh movie in a sea of sequels and reboots, but at the same time, being original, you have no brand name recognition. There's no is zero brand name. So this movie's either gonna sink or swim, and I think it's going to swim at least for pandemic standards. But yeah, I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything besides COVID that would really kill this movie's box office. So yeah. So opening weekend, if we were talking like pre-pandemic times, like this movie was supposed to come out like last July, it probably would have done great. But now, not so much, unfortunately. Uh I don't know if it's gonna reach past 20. It would be great if it did. Because unlike say some of the other Disney movies we've had recently, Raya and the Last Dragon, Cruella, Black Widow, Jungle Cruise. This does not have the Disney Plus Premier Access treatment at all. This is theatrical only, but it will be in theaters for about 45 days until the movie does go to Disney Plus. I think it goes to Disney Plus. It should go there. So, yeah, it doesn't have to worry about any Disney Plus Premier Access shenanigans or potential lawsuits. so, so I guess that's good. But I'm gonna be a little pessimistic because I was optimistic last weekend and it backfired horribly. So I'm gonna be more pessimistic. I'm gonna say this movie's gonna open between 15 and 20 million, but I would not be surprised if it did better than that. And then overall, ooh, it might reach 50 million or more. That's why I'm thinking. That's the low end of my predictions. And yeah, it should no doubt be the number one movie of the week. I mean, its biggest competition is like Don't Breathe 2, but I don't think that movie's gonna do all that great, to be honest. So yeah, I have one more movie to cover. It's Respect. Then that'll be it for the weekend. The next weekend, I have 4 movies to do. God. Night House, Paw Patrol, Protege, and Reminiscence. And then end the month, I do Candyman, and that's the end of August. So, yeah. Anywho, that is it. That is all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got a playlist on the homepage of all previous movies that have come out this year that I've covered. We're talking just straight up Disney movies. I've covered all of them. Raya and the Last Dragon, Cruella, Black Widow, Jungle Cruise. Covered. I know it's not a lot, but that's all we got. Not to mention other big movies that have come out, like Quiet Place 2, F9, Godzilla vs. Kong, and so on and so forth. So, if you want to watch any of those, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I just did an episode about Venom 2 getting pushed back and Hotel Transylvania 4 either getting pushed back or going on the Netflix. So if you want to watch that or any of the other canceled episodes, there's now 73 episodes. If you want to watch any of those, you can go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. I just did the July recap last week. August recap won't come out till the beginning of September, so it's going to be a while before you get to that. We get that. But if you want to watch any of the past any of the past recap videos, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.